I've always said that you can get great photos with any modern camera as long as you pair it with a good lens. Now it is time to finally put my money where my mouth is and make an actual lens review of the Nikon DX 35mm f1.8 G AFS. How much of the name do you actually want? But this is an old lens from 2009. It is 2023, so let's see how this thing has held up. So in terms of DX lenses, one of the cheapest lenses you can buy for your F-mount camera is the 35mm f1.8 DX. So as a DX lens, it is meant for the APS-C bodies of the F-mount Nikon cameras, but it does still fit on the FX mount, so the full frame cameras. But the downside with that is it would give you some strong vignetting, so I would stick to the APS-C bodies with this one. Being a 35mm focal length on an APS-C body, that would translate to 52.5mm focal length on a full frame camera. And having an aperture of f1.8 gives it some really solid low light performance, as well as some nice shallow depth of field. In terms of size, it is a small little thing, being 52.5mm by 70mm, and having a nice low weight of just 200 grams. If you throw it on something like the Nikon D3400, which is already small for a DSLR, you can get a really small, neat little package. But the lens itself is built out of plastic, so the build quality is nothing to rave about, but it is still solid enough that I wouldn't criticize it for the material. And it also makes possible probably the best thing about this lens that we will get to later. And it's a simple design, really. You have a focus mode switch on the side and a focus ring in the front. That focus ring, though, is the first part that really grinds my gears. It doesn't feel good. It feels like it's some really rough plastic on plastic contact. And if you compare it to something like my Sigma lens that I'm using right now, which is virtually silent, I mean, just listen to this. The difference between those lenses is night and day, but that is just foreshadowing probably the biggest downside of this lens. The lens also has a 52mm filter thread, so you will know which filters to get or which step-up ring. But now for the performance. As the AFS in the name would suggest, the lens does support autofocus through its contacts. But this has a really big caveat. That autofocus is meant for only photos or B-roll for something like a video. Why? Because it has some of the loudest autofocus motors that I've used. I mean, just listen to this. And if you're wondering how it sounds when you're recording a video on the camera and the autofocus motors are going, well, here you go. Combining this with the autofocus performance of my D3400, that just makes this combination pretty much a non-starter for any sort of video. That's okay, I have my Sony camera for my videos, just if you're getting this combination, beware. Well, what if you use it for photos though? Well, now we're talking. Since the focal range is so great and it gives you that nifty 50 level of zoom, combined with the fast aperture, it is just a fantastic all-purpose lens. The lens is nice and sharp and produces great photos, whether you're shooting portraits, streets, landscape, or, I don't know, products, whatever you would with a nifty 50. And there's good overall sharpness in the image, all the way to the edges. So the optics are good. But what I did notice is that there is slight vignetting around the edges. So even on an APS-C camera, nothing that the camera itself can't fix, or a photo editing software for that matter, but it is still good to know. Now, while the fast aperture does give you that flexibility and that performance in low light, helping especially APS-C cameras, there is some heavy color fringing in that f1.8. If you have anything bright in the image that you're trying to focus on, you will quickly notice some green and magenta in those edges. But once you start stopping it down, you get rid of it quite quickly, though now you're losing the f1.8. So it's a give and take, but you do learn to work around it. But that best thing about the lens that I mentioned, since it is so old, you can find it used for really, really cheap. I got mine for around $80 used, but still in perfect condition. So paying $80 for this, the photos that it takes, the situations where I can use it, I easily got my money's worth. And seeing as you can find it new in some places for $150, that is still so much cheaper than pretty much anything else. Maybe Canon's Nifty 50 is around that price range, but for Sony, for example, you're gonna have to dish up probably a double the same amount. And seeing as I got the lens for pretty much my travel kit, you would be hard pressed to find anything as close to the same value, quality, and versatility that you wouldn't be terrified to break. If the best camera is the one that you can afford to buy twice, then in the same vein, I would say the best lens is the one that you can afford breaking. If you want to check out the lens for yourself, I will post a link in the description below. That will be an Amazon affiliate link. So if you choose to use it, you will support the channel. And I mean, thanks. I'll appreciate you. But if you use the 35mm f1.8, let me know in the comments below. And also, do you think there is a better value Nikon DX lens out there? Also, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you're still watching the video, make sure to also like the video since you can obviously stand my stupid face. And I will see you all next time. So have a great rest of your week. And, well, I'll see you. Bye.